What was your school's biggest scandal?
My English teacher in the 11th grade was sleeping with the whole girls' basketball team in exchange for straight A's. I actually failed English that year, but when that made the news, my school said I didn't have to go anymore because he wasn't doing the grading properly. Everyone who had his class got a B.
One year in exams days they were trying to add a new method to prevent cheating, where a man from the administration comes to every class before the exam and collects students' phones, while sticking a sticker with a number on each phone and giving the same sticker to the student so he can get his phone after school, without anyone taking someone else's phone that looks alike or something. This was working at first and a bit preventing cheating until one day some guy sneaked into our high school and came as the man who collects the phones. While he wasn't. He stole the whole high school phones and went. Lol.
The math teacher left his wife of 18 years for one of the graduating seniors.
Kid made a chlorine bomb and threw it in the trash can at lunch. Lockdown, bomb squad, every single kid and faculty member out on the field in 95-degree weather for over 2 hours until parents could show up to pick up their kids. My department lead allowed the baseball team to line up, and she gave them all blowjobs. Happened years ago and confirmed by veteran coworkers I knew. Recently, some of the boys that graduated years ago decided to inform the proper authorities. She was transferred to another school. Still works in the district.
A girl in my middle school was telling people she had a hit list of people she was going to kill. Got caught with the list, and was sent to a hospital for a while. She came back a few years later in high school.
First week of high school, PE class, the first section was swim. Wasn't my class but the class after. This kid was playing a game with his friends in the water. Who could hold their breath the longest? He was going up for air and hit his head on the pointy part of the gutter, and never made it to the surface. Friends didn't notice, teacher didn't notice. Eventually, football players coming back to the locker rooms noticed. He ended up dying. Teacher was fired, although I wouldn't fully blame him as he was attending and teaching kids who didn't know how to swim or weren't strong swimmer. One adult for over 60 kids. That's the school's fault. I was in 8th grade at the time, but the high school I would be attending the next year had a massive hazing scandal that made international news overnight. A group of junior girls trying to join the Powder Puffs went to play football against the seniors. Instead of playing, they got the shive kicked out of them. They were forced to sit in a huddle on the ground while paint and animal intestines were thrown at them, and one girl even had a bucket put over her head as it was hit with baseball bats. I heard later on she suffered permanent hearing loss. Someone recorded it. This was before smartphones, so someone had a literal camcorder and released it to the media. The senior girls that were identified were suspended, many of them losing college admissions, and some parents were arrested when it was found out they supplied alcohol. When I started high school, we had to endure multiple school assemblies every year about how hazing is bad, and participate in week-long seminars about being much more caring and considerate of our fellow students. A teacher had an affair with a student. She was arrested and released on bail. Then a few days later she sent an email to other teachers saying it wasn't an affair, but that she was actually being R-worded by the students, and blackmailed. She even attached screenshots of texts. Later that day, she murdered her husband and committed suicide. A girl gave a guy a BJ behind a building. Her braces got stuck on his dick. He pulls back, dick bleeding, punches her in the mouth. She goes and tells the principal. Parents get called in. He yells, "She cut my dick," while the door was open. Everyone knew then. Back in high school, the entire football team was almost expelled because one girl gave blowjobs to every single one of the players in the locker rooms. Supposedly they were all in a circle and the girl was just going around to each person. The kicker? The girl's brother was on the team, and he let it happen. Edit, everyone's asking, but it's my understanding that the brother didn't partake in it, but he was effectively forcing her to not stop until she was done with everyone. The team ended up not getting in any major trouble, but the girl was suspended for a good minute. When I was in the 5th grade, the male teacher I had in the 4th grade was fired for helping a high school cheerleader undress. Looking back, he was a creeper. Edited to add. I was wrong, it was a 10-year-old. Just found out. The Harlem Shake was a craze. We had a PE teacher who desperately enjoyed being the popular teacher, so he got in on the craze. Invited 40 pupils from my year to his classroom at lunch and filmed his own Harlem Shake video, which in itself would have been against safeguarding rules. Thing is, he also taught sex ed, so everyone got into his cupboard before the start of the video for props. The video was essentially a group of 14-year-olds throwing dildos and condoms around the room while he, of his own accord, grinded on a life-size cutout of the Pope. He was suspended under investigation for half a year but surprising kept his job. He was a lot more professional when he returned. 3 kids broke into the school at night. They proceeded to spray paint one practice field, set fire to another, and burned a bunch of equipment. Thing is, one kid had on a very recognizable pair of shoes, and they were caught a couple days later. One weekend, a couple of kids from the hockey team had a sleepover. One of the older boys from high school targeted them. He tied them up, R-worded them, slit their throats and set the house on fire. One of the boys survived and is an incredible person. He's the chief of a fire department and has done motivational speaking. The murderer is now out on full parole. My high school guidance counselor fucked a science teacher's wife and everyone knew about it. They got a divorce. Both teachers still work at the same school to this day, and students will never ever let it go. The story has been handed down from year to year.